kill the brain and you kill the ghoul.
Welcome, boys and ghouls, to the Cold Dead Heart Horror Show. We aim to bring you information about new horror projects, games, movies, books, and collectibles every month. This is our first official show in format continuity, and we are so glad you decided to join us. Hopefully we won't scare you too much. I'm Gigi, and joining me in the depths we have Ken of the Dead, C from Wither, Jarvis, Jasper, and Lena. Alright, y'all, let's get started.
Night Swim is a collaborative film done by Blumhouse and Atomic Monster, based on the acclaimed 2014 short film by Rod Blackhurst and Bryce McGuire. Forced into early retirement by a degenerative illness, former baseball player Ray Walker moves into a new house with his wife and 2 children. He hopes that the backyard swimming pool will be fun for the kids and provide physical therapy for himself. However, a dark secret from the home's past soon unleashes a malevolent force that drags the family into the depths of inescapable terror. This film was released on January 5th. However, it will be ready to stream on the February the 20th, which will likely be shown on Peacock. So I'd like to talk about Neon Films. So there's a company called Neon Films, and if you don't recognise the name, you'd certainly recognise the projects they've done, such as Three Identical Strangers and Parasite. Neon Films has released a movie trailer with no name, which has been terrifying the internet. The unknown trailer didn't originally have a name, as it features an old family photo and the audio of a 911 call where a man insists, "That's not my daughter." Then it cuts to a mysterious figure lying on the ground with their torso out of frame. This has actually been updated since I wrote this down. They have released a name, and it's called Long Legs, which features Nicolas Cage. So Long Legs is about an FBI agent, Lee Harker, who's assigned to an unsolved serial killer case that takes unexpected turns, revealing evidence of the occult. Harker discovers a personal connection to the killer and must stop him before he strikes again. I watched this trailer. It looks amazing, and I think it's definitely one that horror fans should look out for. I also want to discuss True Detective. I have been a fan of this TV show for years, and this year they have graced us with season 4. So it's back this year for season 4. And for those that aren't familiar with it, it's about police officers and detectives around the USA who are forced to face dark secrets about themselves and the people around them while investigating homicides. Each season we see a new state in America and new faces. In season 4, we are graced by actress Jodie Foster, who has returned to the horror genre despite not being in the horror genre for 30 years. She said in an interview the story gripped her so much, and she was a mega fan of the series anyway, so she couldn't say no to the role. We're only 3 episodes into True Detective Night Country. It's based in Ennis, Alaska, and the men who operate a research station have vanished. To solve the case, Detective Danvers and Navarro will have to confront the darkness themselves and dig into haunted truths that are buried beneath the ice. So even if you haven't watched other seasons, you can just dive into it because, like I said before, it's a new state in America and it's new detectives, so you don't have to watch any of the other ones. Though I do recommend watching season 1 because although there's 4 seasons, season 1 was the best.
I am really into all of those releases. Night Swim, the trailer for it looks incredible. I like anything with Nicolas Cage, and I'm a huge True Detective fan since season 1.
I'm catching a lot of slack for not being on this True Detective thing. I got to catch up for sure. But that Long Legs, I've been following these like little teaser unnamed trailers for a while that Neon's been doing. Their marketing has been killer with this, and like now finding out the new Nicolas Cage horror movie, I'm super psyched. And the images that they showed today were dynamite. I'm super looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean it's all seems pretty exciting, and anytime you see a new Nicolas Cage horror movie,
right,
you got to be in front of the line for something like that.
Let's jump over now to horror books and comics with C Wither Network and Kin of the Dead.
All right, guys. So I've got 2 books that I'm going to talk about really fast. So the first we have is called The House of Last Resort. So this was written by Christopher Golden, and it's a story that follows a young American couple who buy a large estate in their family's small Italian village. Being able to now work remotely, the timing was perfect for the move to a remote and peaceful old world paradise. But they soon find out that the old world has secrets they were not prepared for. What terrors lurk behind the walls at the place that the locals call the House of Last Resort. And jumping into the next book, we have Womb City by Tilo Tsimasi. This tells a tale of a dark and deadly future Botswana, rich with culture, folklore, and spirits that can claw their way into your life from beyond. As a vengeful ghost begins exacting a bloody streak of revenge, unraveling society's sinister secrets may be the only way to stop it. Both these books are on sale now, and that wraps it up for me. So, Ken, what do you got that's new with horror comics?
Thanks, C. Okay, well, 2023 was one of the best years in recent times for horror comics, and I gotta tell you, right now, 2024 is looking to be even better. So let's dive into a few new releases this month that caught my eye. January 10th, superstar artist Zyman Kudunsky dropped his latest issue of Blood Commandment, part 3 in a 4-issue limited series. Blood Commandment is the story of a man trying to outrun his bloody past and save his only son from a cursed fate, perfect for fans of dark and violent vampire lore. January 17th, we got the 3rd issue of The Deviant by award-winning writer James Tynion. Christmas 1972, a crazed serial killer dressed as Santa Claus goes on a murderous rampage. 50 years later, a struggling writer interviews the man arrested for the crime just as a copycat killer begins a new spree of holiday massacres. One issue to go, and guys, I can't wait to see how this story wraps up. January 24th saw the 8th installment of Jeff Lemire and Andre Sorrentino's Tenement, part of the Bone Orchard Mythos collection. Tenement tells the story of 8 tenants in an old rundown apartment. They come from different backgrounds, each with their own unique past and problems. Yet their fates become tied together as a mysterious death in the building begins to unravel their concepts of reality. This has easily been one of my favorite monthly reads since the Bone Orchard Mythos started, and it's at the top of my recommend list. Lastly, for January, I gotta highlight Tynion and Martin Simmons' Universal Monsters Dracula, which just wrapped up this month. This book has easily been one of the most haunting, beautiful series I've ever read. James takes us into the dark Gothic corners of the 1931 Bela Lugosi movie, exploring everything unseen in a really masterful way. Complemented by Martin's gorgeous oil-painted horror, this is a must-read for any fans of classic horror film.
Thanks, Ken. Those sound like some exciting titles. Personally, I'm a huge fan of like painterly style comics, so I'll have to check Dracula out for sure.
Oh, definitely. Martin Simmons is definitely like in my top echelon of current artists in the business. And if you check out anything that he's done, like specifically if you're already a Dracula fan, his stuff just bleeds that character and that Gothic time frame. It's incredible.
Oh, cool. Also really excited about Christopher Golden's book.
It sounds really good.
Yeah, it sounds really good, and he's been in horror for a long time. He did he was the editor of one of my favorite anthologies in recent years, The New Dead. It had authors like Joe Hill, Max Brooks, Kelly Armstrong in it, and he put it together and did a fantastic job. So I'm excited to read his novel.
That sounds dynamite. I like all those authors.
Yeah, me too.
I'll tell you after listening to this, though, I'm gonna have to pick up The Deviant you got up there by James Tynion, because I don't think I've ever seen anything with that type of outline, you know, right, where Santa Claus goes on a murderous rampage, and then 50 years later, it sounds really, really cool.
It's so good.
You cannot go wrong with Santa Claus. That I know.
Killer. Everyone loves the killer Santa Claus, and it came out like right at the end of November, so it was like this really cool kind of read through the holiday season for sure. And the story is so good too. Like the premise is based on Well, I don't want to give too much of it away, but
let me buy it.
like anything that Tynion writes, is going to be gold. He's won consecutive back-to-back Best Comic Writer of the Year awards, and like he focuses primarily on creator-owned stuff, so it's fantastic to see.
Right
Top notch.
Awesome.
Okay, let's jump over to collectibles with Jarvis.
Great, thanks.
All right. Let's start talking about not one, not two, but three new figures based on Eli Roth's newest horror hit, Thanksgiving. NECA is releasing a new 7-inch figure complete with many accessories in true NECA fashion. Also, we're getting a cloth line figure that offers the killer in full cloth outfit and allows tons of hidden articulation. Lastly, we're getting John Carver in the Toonie Terrors line, where the villain will show up in old school cartoon form, inspiring classic Scooby-Doo villains. The release date is in February, March, and April, respectively, from this year. Let me talk about the Vincent Price that NECA is going to release in the second quarter of 2024 also. The figure is revealed at Toy Fair, and it perfectly captures the Master of Menace, and it comes with three different heads, each one capturing a different stage in platinum. Capturing a different stage in Price's life and career. One is young, and I think it's from House of the Haunted Hill. The other is a little bit older, and the last one is completely old man Vincent Price from Edward Scissorhands. This one.
So what you're saying is that we're gonna have to buy 3 of them.
If I was to know the set, yeah, I'm gonna have 3 different Vincent Prices, and I don't think I would want to have the same body because I think the body is in the House of Haunted Hill. So the other heads are probably gonna look. The only thing that should be from Edward Scissorhands, but I also see the 7 Masks of Death. Do you watch this one?
Right. That's the cool thing about NECA. Their sculpts are so realistic that when they do a figure like that of a classic icon, just by changing the head sculpt to follow like the generations, you could pretty much place them anywhere, right? And Vincent Price is just such an icon. I love it. I was really excited.
I'm really hoping they do more horror icons like this, because it's uncommon. You don't see like figures based on a specific actor, usually one of his characters.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think Vincent Price really got that position of honor there, and it's well deserved.
Just imagine what they can do with a Boris Karloff figure.
Oh,
that would be so exciting.
Amazing.
Thanks for sharing all that news, Jarvis. I might have to pick up a couple of those. All right, Lena, let's start talking about some video games, one of my favorite topics.
Thank you, Gigi. How about we talk about some games now? Horror games are now finding new ways to scare horror fans. In such games, you are required to use your microphone and traverse the creepy environment filled with horrific scenes and jump scares without screaming. Don't Scream is a game where if you scream, it's game over and you have to start all over again. The game only lasts 18 minutes and features randomized encounters and scares to switch up each run. With this game growing traction, I feel horror fans will see a new era in horror gaming in 2024. Until Dawn is an interactive horror video game that follows 8 friends and frenemies who are brought together to a remote mountain retreat. You spend your time in live-or-die situations against a mysterious killer. The group might fight through their fear to survive with you, the player, there to try and guide them all to safety. David F. Sandberg, known for Annabelle Creation and Lights Out, will direct the film adaptation of the PlayStation horror video game by Screen Gems and PlayStation Productions. The models used in the game were by actual actors such as Rami Malek, Megan Martin, and Hayden Panettiere. The big question is, will they use the same cast from the video game for the new movie adaptation? In my opinion, I am very much hyped for the new movie by Until Dawn. The only question is if they will really use the actors. I would love it, but they kind of are a bit older than who they portrayed all these years ago now. And it might seem a little unrealistic, but on the other hand, fans wouldn't care that much, I think. So, what do you guys think about this?
Oh, that's a good question, Lena. I kind of feel like I'd probably see it either way and enjoy it, but it also would be really cool to have the original voice actors. They did a really good job on it, and I think it would be kind of fun. If I could add as well, The Last of Us 2 Remastered was released for PS5, and that's very exciting for The Last of Us fans out there. And Those Who Remain was released on Xbox Game Pass. Now, Those Who Remain is a great game if you like Silent Hill. It has that kind of atmospheric, spooky monster vibe. Also, it's a little clunky, so don't hold that against it, but I'm enjoying the heck out of it. Definitely screamed a couple times. So if you have a Game Pass, you might want to give that a download.
You know what I love about that jump scare one is that technology, and it's kind of like an indie thing right now, right? Like with this developer, with that technology, if it does take off, which I hear people talking about it all the time, so I'm sure that it will. Could you picture that technology being transferred or utilized by like AAA game developers? That's going to add a whole new dimension to playing horror games.
It is. That'd be intense. Well, we've already seen something kind of similar with Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. In the way they used headphones, because they recommended it, and then the voices would come at you, different audio angles, and that was such an amazing addition to the feel of the game. And if they included like mic output, that would be great. A little difficult if you have pets or small children, but still really fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to play that game in my house.
Man, thanks, y'all. This is some fun information, and I'm so looking forward to 2024. Are there any other projects that y'all are excited about or favorites that we've already discussed?
Yeah, so I haven't been able to get that Long Legs out of my head. I'm always stoked when there's a new Nick Cage movie out, so that's a big one. Plus, I'm sure we'll be talking about it in the highlighted segment. But Willem Del Toro, was sharing pictures on set for Frankenstein this week, and I thought that was just dynamite. I'm super excited for that.
Probably the greatest Frankenstein we're gonna have in recent times.
In recent times, for sure. Yeah. Plus,
stuff. I'm such a sucker for it.
Me too. And Willem Del Toro, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
He's trying to make the film for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. And he's such a huge monster fan. And with his vision, like, I think we're, I always, kind of hope for the best and expect the worst, but I'm really anticipating masterpiece. And like on Universal Monsters, I was raving about that Dracula series. So I guess it did so well. Image is going to be dropping their next in line, which is a Creature from the Black Lagoon 4-issue miniseries. And there's some amazing writers on that. I'm sure I'll feature them on the next show of upcoming horror stuff. But I'm really pumped for that.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool.
I don't know. I'm really into True Detective. I've actually rewatched the first 3 episodes twice.
Oh, wow.
So, I just think they've done an incredible job with it, and they've recaptured whatever they had in the first season.
I don't know how this show slipped by my radar, but like just when season 4 came out was the very first time I either heard of it or took notice of it, and everyone that wants to talk to me about it, I'm like, I've never watched a show, I've never heard of it, and they're like, what? Like, how have you not heard of this show? And like, I have no idea, but like all the hype it's getting now, I definitely gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, I'm in the same with you, man. I mean, we were just talking about it, pre-show today. It was just how good it is, and how each season is a different storyline almost.
Right.
Makes it really easy to just jump into. Yeah. Well, that sounds great. I'm gonna have to jump into that pretty soon as well.
I'll have to find who the sound person is, but whoever picks their music is phenomenal. And Like season 2 featured Lyra Lynn a whole lot, and her voice just like it can take you into another dimension. It's so good.
I love that when sound amplifies mood, like when you get the cinematography, matched with like the proper sound. And I'll circle back around this next show because I can't remember who had said it, but there's been this trend in movies and shows of trying to capture this ultra realistic sound. And it was a complaint from, I think it was like a big director. I'll make note of it next time and come around to it. But they were like, that's not how you tell a story. That's real life, right? Like a story is supposed to separate you from real life, and the sound should reflect the mood that the director wants you to feel, right? And I never really gave it a lot of thought until I was reading this article, and I was like, that's genius, because when I think back to like all my favorite like movies and shows, how the visuals and the sound work together in intense scenes, and like for that split moment, you're outside of reality and you're biting your nails, in the moment of what's happening. I think Hannibal was a fantastic. I don't know if you guys have watched Hannibal, the Mads Nicholson. I think that is a fan, and again, it's not something I consciously thought of it until I was reading this article, but that was where my mind went right away. Was there are moments in that show where the visuals and the sound just engross your soul, right? And you're in that moment of terror without even realizing it, right? It's it plays such an important role, and it's I guess something more modern where the take on it is try and make the sound as realistic as possible to get people into it. And it's like this contrast between two ideas of thought, right? But
right.
Just interesting anyways.
Yeah.
Totally. And let me end here talking about two little films that I have here. There are two of my most anticipated films of 2024. Let me see what you guys think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with a film that I hope I'm alive to see, because I can't really wait for the year to end. You know which one it is, right, Ken?
I think so. I think I know where you're going.
No, you know which one it is. Come on. Come on. We talk about this all the time. Robert Eggers' Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah, right? Of course. Yeah, that is my most anticipated movie of 2024 as well. I've been talking about it since the beginning of last year. I've got posters of it. Every time a new poster comes out, I throw them up on socials and stuff. I think
they're all fan-made, okay? And there's no official one yet.
Is that, do you know when that's released to come out? I heard late 2024.
Near Christmas. Coming out on Christmas. Yeah.
On Christmas.
In North America. Yeah. December 25th.
Right on. But it's one of those films that it's a license that you rather that people don't mess with, because most people are gonna fuck up if they try. I rewatched recently the Herzog Nosferatu.
Yeah.
And I love Herzog, but he really missed the mark with his remake, man. Holy crap.
Yeah. And that's why I'm so excited for this. I think
I think when you find the exactly right director that can use this IP, like you can't go wrong with it. And Robert Eggers is like the guy who was born to do Nosferatu.
Yeah, and it's evident in The Lighthouse, right? Like, you watch The Lighthouse, it gives you the vibe that you want for a Nosferatu movie, like, almost perfectly. Like, it's, if, like, for any fans of, like, the classic soundless film, it's all mood, right? It's all tone, and I don't know who on this planet could capture it perfectly, but if anyone can, I think Igor can. I'm really excited for it. Yeah,
and the cast looks amazing as well. And I wouldn't go with Bill Skarsgård because I think he's kind of young, but I don't know, man. I'm waiting to be impressed here.
must have seen something in him, right? And I've been super surprised by actors before. I say this all the time, and it's nothing to take away from the profession, but I view actors more as tools, right? And a tool is only like this is, and it's true, right? They are a tool for making movies, and I think the right director, is like having the right carpenter or mechanic, and it's just how do you use that tool properly. So I've always looked more towards the director than I do the actors as far as how I think something will go. I've been surprised so many times by actors I never give a second thought to, and all of a sudden, boom, right? They come out in the right role with the right director, and it's magic.
Totally, man.
But yeah, I knew that was going to be your and mine most anticipated movie of the year.
Like for sure. Actors can honestly make or break a little bit more than that. I mean, a director can direct, but if they have, like, I don't know, an example, if they have somebody that they can work with, and they can
like the chemistry, you mean, right?
Yes.
Like. Yeah.
Because if the chemistry's off, I feel like you can tell that. And like even if the director is amazing, if they're fighting an actor that doesn't really capture the role, then they're kind of SOL.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something. So you're right. You're definitely right. But I think that's something that directors do as well, right? It's not when they're picking cast. It's maybe it's revolved around one person who's going to be the most important person, but then it's finding people that'll fit that person or people that will fit together. Like we've seen a lot of times throughout film history where they film sometimes even halfway through the movie and then decide that, you know what? Everything works except for the main character, right? And then they reshoot with someone new. So yeah, there's a lot to be said for chemistry and synergy on set too, for sure.
Yeah, and let me just finish here, bringing 10-year-old Jarvis to talk about a film that he's really looking forward to, that's coming very soon, actually. Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire, guys. I can't wait. 10-year-old Jarvis is jumping right now, so you have no idea.
I did really like. I had to smile without even realizing it when I saw Annie Potts, all dressed up in her Ghostbusters.
Seeing the old guys, there, seeing the old ghosts there. It's man, this is one of the films that make me go into horror, so it's very special to me.
Yeah, I saw the test shot of Slimer the other day, and yeah, it did look pretty good. I got to say, I'm not, I have a tendency to kind of leave 80s in the 80s, and it's really hard to sell me on something from the 80s nowadays. Yeah, but if anything could do it, I think the Ghostbusters crew could. I see anything with Bill Murray in it anyways, so who am I kidding?
Yeah. I know,
we just had Bill Murray.
Movies, one of the things that I'm really excited about that just came to Shudder is Suitable Flesh with Barbara Crampton. Holy crap, that movie was amazing.
Yeah, you watched it, eh?
Yes.
I was supposed to watch it last weekend, and it just slipped the schedule, but it is literally the number one thing on my to-watch list is Suitable Flesh.
Is that the Heather Graham one?
Yeah, Heather Graham and Barbara Crampton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barbara
Crampton.
I heard a lot of great things about
it. So it was good, though, AG?
It was incredible. And, I mean, I've had a major crush on Barbara Crampton since the 80s when I saw her in Reanimator.
Same.
And, she's just incredible. And the whole cast did a great job, and I really enjoyed the movie. Definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I can't wait to check it out. When you put Barbara Crampton next to Lovecraftian, and I'm pre-sold, right? Like it's not even a thought. So I'm pretty pumped for it. Reanimator and From Beyond, those are like part of my soul. You know what I mean? Like those two movies are part of who I am as an adult. So yeah, I'm very excited for it. I've heard the reviews are good. Everyone who is like into those, like that pocket of 80s, horror sci-fi movies all rave about it, so I know it's going to be good. I'm really excited to see it. I'm hoping to watch it this weekend.
Great.
Mm.
Well,
All right, guys. Anyone have anything else?
Yeah, so probably the top of my list for things that are coming up is George Romero's final movie in the Of the Dead series.
Yes.
It doesn't have a release date yet. They were waiting on like the SAG-AFTRA strike to be able to continue writing it and everything, but they're projecting it to be at the end of this year, beginning of next year. It's called Twilight of the Dead, and
Right.
everything that I read about it seems like it's going to be a banger. So I'm pretty pumped for that.
Yeah, and it's all like the Romero Foundation people like involved in this, right? This is his final script, his unfinished like passion project.
So they actually have a couple of them that the George Romero Foundation has been trying to crowdsource and crowdfund. This is one of them, and then they have another one. It's called Romero's Eligaki. That one is actually finished. They're just trying to get the licensing rights for the music. So the guy who wrote the music ended up passing away 3 days after he finished it. So they had Romero's script, they had a poem and music. Now they're just trying to get the licensing right to get that pumped out. And I do believe, I know for a fact this is his last. This will be the last contribution towards the Of the Dead series.
This finishes it off, right? Like that was the theory behind it. That's why they want to do it.
So honestly, I don't know if it ended the story. They talk about how he wrote sections of it prior to his death in 2017, and then they had other writers come in and create the rest, to kind of fill in the gaps almost. So depending on how they take it, it's not going to be entirely, from my understanding, it's not entirely a George Romero script, right? He had a really good
Like
outline.
an unfinished. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. I can't wait, man. I think everyone here today can say that, like we are actually a group of like, I know we each have our own little things that we gravitate to in horror, but we're all Romero heads, right? So I think this is going to be a big one for our crew.
Yeah, I think it's insane that projects like this even need crowdfunding. Like, what are the studios that should want to invest in these?
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. We could have a 3-hour show just talking about mistakes from the industry, right? But again, like the sad truth is that the industry is not ran by fans, right? It's ran by corporate money people, and it's just a different outlook on it. Even what comes across, like if we were the people that were sitting in their office, more, or people like us, more good stuff would likely be made. But they're not surrounded by people like us. They're surrounded by red tape people, right? Money people.
Yeah, I think part of the thing with these guys at the George Romero Foundation is they don't want a big production for the final movie, so that what they're trying to do is do it very original to the way he had done all of his previous films, right? Where he picked up a camera for a couple $100, got some of his buddies, and made some really cool movies. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I feel like that is like that's the way I would want to see a Romero movie. I wouldn't want to see a Romero movie any other way, right?
1000%.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys, and just to wrap things up a little bit, see what Wither projects are coming up in 2024.
Yes. So in order to be able to. So we have probably about 6 projects coming up this year, and they're all in various stages of completion. But the one that I'll talk about right now is the comic that we have. So it's a Wither Universe story. So it takes place in the Wither Universe that we created, and it feeds off of the novel that we have out, Wither, a zombie novel. So it's going to be a 12-issue series. So the first issue is Death in the Dead, Vinland and the Skraelings. So that was completed about 2 weeks ago. We just sent the corrections back to the artist, for some minor text boxes and bubbles that needed to kind of be reshaped, and some of the panels that needed to be reshaded and everything. But so we have the prototype of that, and we're hoping to be able to showcase that at the Living Dead weekend up in Monroeville, Pennsylvania this June. So we're really excited about it, and we're hoping that we'll be able to get out one issue every 7 to 9 months, depending on obviously the availability of our artists. But so it takes place in roughly 980 AD, and what we did was we took the real life story of Eric and Leif, two Nordic Vikings who traversed from Northland over to Newfoundland in northern Canada, where they encounter some indigenous peoples, and the Wither universe kind of takes hold from there. I don't want to give too much away, but it's pretty awesome looking.
Well, as a both comic nerd and Wither nerd, I could tell you I'm super excited for this. I've seen some of the test shots that you've done. They're nice enough to send me and stuff, and I'm super excited for it.
I know it's going to be incredible.
Can't wait, man.
Yeah, we're really pumped for it. So, fingers crossed that everything works out and we're ready to go in June.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you so much to my co-hosts and to everyone out there who has listened and tuned into our little show. We have enjoyed it. We hope that you enjoyed as well. Come back for the next one. And until then, be well and scare you soon.
Good night, guys.
Bye, guys.
All right, later.